Mr. Callum, during your presentation, you mentioned that you'd had some problems recently and that the project was behind schedule. How long do you think it will take to get back on schedule? I don't know. What impression would you get if a presenter answered your question like this? Probably not a very good one. Hi everybody and welcome back to English for Professionals. I'm Derek and I'm here with another short lesson for you busy people. In this Business English presentations lesson, I'm going to give you lots of useful tips for handling questions. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel and you're interested in short lessons to help you with your business English, then hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click on the little bell. That way you'll be notified every time I upload a new lesson. And now let's get started. We're going to look at 4 different things in this lesson. First, how to be prepared for questions. Second, repeating questions. Then, handling different types of questions. And finally, checking for satisfaction. First of all, it's good to know when questions will be asked. If you have a more open, flexible style of presentation, you may choose to accept questions at any time. However, if you have a strict time limit and you prefer not to be interrupted, then you'll probably prefer to accept questions at the end of your presentation. When you make your introduction, make sure to let your audience know when they can ask questions. And always be well prepared and know your topic. It doesn't matter whether you accept questions at any time or only at the end. The better your preparation and knowledge of your topic, the better you will be able to handle your audience's questions. If you want to be really well prepared, think about the questions your audience could ask and put them into the following categories. Category 1, questions you expect and can definitely answer. Category 2, questions you would expect but would find difficult to answer. And the final category, category 3, questions you wouldn't want someone to ask and would find very difficult to answer. And when you're finished categorizing these questions, try to come up with strategies for dealing with the questions in category 2 and 3. When somebody asks a question, it's a good idea to repeat the question for a couple of reasons. For example, if somebody asks, "Are you expecting this product to be a big success?" you can repeat the question like this. "You're asking me whether we're expecting this product to be a big success?" So why is this a good idea? Well, first of all, when you repeat the question, it can help you to understand the question better. And the person who asked will feel that you were really paying attention when they asked the question. It can also help other people in the audience who maybe didn't hear the question. By repeating the question, you give them the chance to hear the question again. And finally, and this one is important, it also gives you an extra little bit of time to think about your answer. Here are some other ways to repeat the question. Is this something we can afford to do at the moment? You want to know if this is something we can afford to do at the moment. Well, are you planning to expand into new markets with this product? If I understand the question correctly, you would like to know if we are planning to expand into new markets with this product. What I can tell you is, how will this new technology help to reduce costs? You're wondering how this new technology will help to reduce costs. Well, a good question gives you the opportunity to give more details about your topic. it could make your presentation better. It could also be about something you wanted to mention but forgot. So why not thank the questioner for reminding you? Here are some different ways to respond to good questions. That's a really good question. I'm glad you've asked that question. That's an interesting question. Ah yes, thank you for reminding me. An unnecessary question is normally a question that you've already answered during the presentation. Don't say, I already answered that question. That's too direct and it may make the questioner feel uncomfortable. Maybe they just missed that part of your presentation. Instead, say this. When I spoke about earlier, I mentioned that. As I mentioned earlier. Perhaps I didn't make that clear. Sometimes people ask questions that are not connected to the topic of your presentation. Here are some different ways to handle these kinds of questions. I'm sorry, but I don't see the connection here. I'm sorry, but I don't quite follow you. To be honest, I think that raises a different issue. Maybe we could discuss it afterwards? A difficult question is one that you don't know the answer to or that's difficult to answer. If you don't know the answer, it's better to be honest and say you don't know. However, let the questioner know that you will try to answer the question at a later point. But be careful. If you have to do this too often, it will give the impression that you don't know your topic and that you're not well prepared. Here are some ways to handle difficult questions. I'm afraid I don't know, but I will find out and get back to you. To be quite honest, I don't really know. Can I get back to you about that? I'm afraid I'm not in a position to comment on that. Or, I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise. It would be better to ask my colleague, Frank Winters. Frank, could you answer that question for us, please? And if your colleague is not present, I'll ask him to contact you to clarify that. Would that be okay? And one more example. I'm afraid I don't have that information to hand, but I'd be happy to forward it to you if you give me your contact details. When we say we don't have something to hand, it means it's not available to us in that moment. And finally, I believe that an important part of being a good and professional presenter and making a good impression is to check with the questioner that they are satisfied with the answer you gave to their question. Now, you don't have to do this for every single question. With a lot of the questions, you'll be very confident that you've answered the question well. But sometimes it is a good idea to do this. And here are some examples of how you can do it. Does that answer your question? I hope that answers your question. Would you like me to elaborate further? To elaborate further means to give more details. I hope I've managed to clarify that for you. Is that what you wanted to know? So that brings us to the end of another presentation skills lesson. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any other tips for handling questions in a presentation, please do let us know in the comments. If you like the lesson, hit the like button and share with your friends and colleagues. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, and join my email list. Every 2 weeks I send out my free vocabulary email with additional business English, words from the news and everyday English for you to learn. The link is in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon.